Thanks a lot, madam, for joining and welcome all. Sorry for the slight delay. So we have Ms. Kalpana Mohan, who is the academic advisor and consultant. And just before to start the webinar, let me just read out a small brief about her. Ms. Kalpana Mohan is a teacher by profession hailing from Bangalore. She has close to around 35 years of teaching and administrative experience. She has served as a principal of Vidyashilp Academy, ranked among the top 10 ICSE and IGCSE schools in India for over 18 years. She's in the advisory board of Basilwood International School. It's an initiative by ISKCON Bangalore. She also conducts academic audits for schools. Primarily, she is a bachelor. She holds a bachelor degree in chemistry. She has a master's degree in political science, and her name is in addition to masters in mass communication and journalism, and also masters in education management too. She is certified as a program leader by Cambridge University, London, and trained more than 60 teachers for Cambridge International Diploma for Teachers and Trainers. She is also certified educator in global perspective. She holds a certificate in managing diversity in the classroom under the RTE. She has won several awards for her contribution to education. Some of them are Swarna Karnataka Shikshana Ratna by Government of India, which is a very prestigious award. Karnataka. Best Principal Award by VO Office, Bangalore North, and identified as Super Citizen by DNA newspaper, and got felicitated as Progressive Principal of India. Best Academic Consultant in Karnataka by GTF in Bangkok, to name a few. She is an ardent reader and also listens to music quite often. An avid follower of sports, Mrs. Kalpana is passionate about cricket. And let's hear more about her on the topic today, which is about which board to choose. So we have different boards like CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE. So let's get to know more about this. So before I hand over the stage to Kalpana, I would request my colleague, Mr. Sangram, to just run you through 2 minutes about the platform to just get an information as to what exactly schools does, and then probably we'll hand it over to Ms. Kalpana. Over to you, Sangram.
Yeah, thank you, Kishan. Thank you very much. I'll just share my screen. So good evening, everyone. Schools is a platform where a parent can search the right school for the children. So this is founded by Mr. Srinivas TV in the year 2020. And we are the only company or one of the few companies which is approved by Government of India. And we have a lot of features, lot of features we have. We have 75 salient information features, as well as we have images where you can browse through the school's informations, and you can see the videos and the pictures of the school. And also you can view 50 plus sports and extracurricular activities informations on this platform. And also you can search, compare, and submit your applications form. And we have also categorized few of the top schools: Bangalore Harvest International School, Saint Sophia Convent High School, Visio Vidyapith's group of schools, and many more are there. And also, as you can see that today's webinar we have listed, and we have a lot of blogs written by experts from our team. So all the details after this sessions, once it's over, you can go to the website and you can explore more details. And I'll also give you a little search option. For example, how we can search. For example, I'm staying at K. Narayanpura. Suppose I want to search for a school. So I can search giving this place where I'm locating. We can see around 88 schools are there. So once we, for example, look for the details of the school, we just click there and we can find the school details, the fee structure, what are the key differentiator of the school, what really differentiate this school Kavira compared to other schools. And also you can explore the pictures. Right hand side, you can see the videos, and also you can explore basic information about the school, whether it's a co-ed, the annual fees, from which grade to grade, what is the strength, what is the average class strength, okay, all the details, co-curricular activities, all these things you can search here. For example, also you can compare one school to another. There's an option given as compare. So for example, I want to compare this school with other schools in that locality. So I can select the school. What are the schools I want to compare? In this case, for example, I want to compare this, with the third, for example, the Little Elihenor, and I can compare. So here I can see, for example, the details of the school has not no details entered. So I can, for example, the first and the last, the Kavira and Hello Kids, Olivia. I can compare the fee structure. I can compare the strength when it started, what are the facilities they're providing. All this I can compare. And also there's an option called here call. The call option, you can see that you can go to the contact and you can call. So once you log in as a parent and call this, automatically your call will be getting connected to the schools and you. So you can directly speak to the school. So this is basically, I have given the little information. I've just given 2% information about the school. But once you go to the website and explore more, you can understand more detail how exactly it works. And also we have, if you go to YouTube and type schools, you will find that like today we have a webinar. We have already conducted so many webinars. So you can find all those webinars having a lot of information about right parenting, how to choose the right school, how to have a balanced nutrition for your child. All the details are there through these videos on this platform, our channel, YouTube channel. So kindly visit this channel and subscribe and like it, so that it will really motivate us to bring more experts to our platform and share more details with you. Thank you very much. Over to Kishan. Thank you. Kishan, your mic is
on. Yeah. Thanks, Sangram. Thanks for that. Madam, now the stage is for you. So all the attendees here, let's probably listen to what ma'am says regarding which board is the best one and what is the difference between each one.
Thank you, Kishan, and thank you for everything, whatever it's been done till now, Chanda. And good evening to everybody. I mean, as we have seen a lot of questions and answers and compare and all in the school side, which school to get admitted and things like that. But before going into a school, you need to decide which board to go. That's what we are trying to work it out today. From school side, that it is very important from educating people. Even though there were a lot of discussions in the earlier days, so many people have spoken so many about different boards and things like that. One more time, one more fine tuning, one more brush up is something is required, because this is admission time. Everybody will be searching for what exactly their child should do. And that's why we are having this talk with you people. Whoever is there, please be patient. I'll be running through a small presentation. After that, we can have question answer session. I would like to have as many questions as possible, because you will have so many doubts after I finish my presentation. So let's start the day with my presentation, and basically you can ask questions after that. Okay. If you want to stop in between also, please raise your hand. I'll be able to answer that. So for that, let me share my screen first. But that's the thing. You can see a small person who's also walking and finding out 3 crossroads. That is what we are all the parents are in about. One is one board, another is another board, another is another board, and we are all so stuck. Sorry, Kishan, somebody's mic is on.
Yeah.
So what is happening is we always stand in a crossroad and check where to go. What's the problem and how it will be taken care of? Am I walking towards the correct path or not? Should I go straight, right, or left? So that these right, left, and straights are the boards. So let us ask what exactly are that. There are so many boards. There's a lot of question marks on the top. CBSE, IB, Cambridge, CISE, etc. There are so many other boards also available. A very, very high level of choices we have. Plenty of choices. In India, we are having this kind of luxury of having more boards and more things, because most of the other countries, they'll have a national curriculum and they'll run like that. But in India, we have CBSE, which is Central Board of Secondary Education, CISCE, that is Council for Indian School Certificate Examination, popularly known as ICSE. IB is International Baccalaureate, is a Swiss-based company curriculum. IGCSE, it's Cambridge Assessment and International Education, CAIE, but popularly known as IGCSE. IGCSE is a 10 standard qualification. Even CBSE is 10 standard. ICSE is also a 10 standard qualification. IB can be 10-year and 12 standard. IGCSE is a 10 standard qualification. And that is basically from Cambridge University, London. The state board, we all know different Gujarat. Every state has got their own boards, and they conduct examinations individually than the central boards. And NIOS, that is National Institute of Open Schooling, which is now becoming very popular because people want to pursue their passion accordingly. So, all these boards are available to us. We can go to any board and we can take up anything for our children. And now, because it's been very widespread, the Indian pan-Indian boards are like CBSE, ICSE, and international boards are available in all the cities, etc. But we have a question. So where to go? What we should do? Why we should choose CBSE? Why we should not choose CBSE? Why should choose ICSE, etc. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to give you a brief account of each and every board. That is CBSE, ICSE, IB, and Cambridge. Only these 4 boards I'm going to give an explanation. NIOS, I'll tell you what it is. Accordingly, we will decide. You can decide, you can ask questions, and you can clarify yourself. And whatever I'm giving information is generally about that particular board. Why we need to have so many boards is a question. Because each and every time when there are too many things are coming out, a lot of information has to be passed on to the children. The national level boards like say ICSE and CBSE, etc., they are giving their own perception of conducting examination, how to go about, etc. That's why there are so many boards. Now, slowly, we are moving towards nationalizing the entire board. The entire country will come under one board through NEP. I have made a small hint also at the end. You can have a look also. But currently, each and every board have got some advantages, some disadvantages. So those things I'm going to tell you. The first, we'll go to CBSE, that is Central Board of Secondary Education. That's the logo for that. What are the advantages? Let's see point by point. Quality of content in learning material. There's a very beautiful material that are created by NCERT, National Board it is. And greater availability of mentors and learning material. A lot of, everywhere turn and look, there are so many CBSE schools and we get a lot of material. And also people who know about CBSE very well. Focus on science and math in mainly CBSE focuses on science and mathematics. They are having very high, strong science and mathematics in their syllabus. And that's why application subjects also are available to that. Then recognition by all colleges in India, that's for sure. CBSE is one of the very, very popular and famous boards. Established blueprint for question papers. See how the question paper will look. Everybody will know because there is a standard blueprint on the basis of Bloom's taxonomy. They have given knowledge, all the analysis, creativity, everything is being taken care of in the question paper. But and also centralized system of transfer across CBSE schools. Everywhere in India, wherever it is happening, from top to bottom, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, CBSE schools have got the good syllabus, and you can access to CBSE syllabus all over India without any problem. So that is it. Let us go to some kind of disadvantages. Focus on textual knowledge. A lot of textual knowledge is taken because if you study for 10 years question paper, you will get the 11th year question paper, sure. Replication of question, critical thinking and application or not. It's not been tested new. We have the questions already available. Teacher training, even though they everywhere it is publicized, CBSE training, the standard of training is not that very great. Then quality on syllabus then enhances. All the time they say we'll reduce 2 lessons, we'll reduce 3 lessons, in which we'll cut some more. So instead of enhancing the amount of volume of syllabus, they just try to simmer it down. And also they are getting influenced by the political parties. This I have not put this as a point, but this is happening. Then some of the schools will be having a price level, higher level spectrum of price also. Lack of options for students inclined towards arts and literature. That we cannot have arts and literature added so much because the inclination of CBSE is more of science and mathematics. So if you look into these two, apart from whatever is put on here, CBSE also has a small advantage is that wherever you go in India, you get schools. Number of schools are more. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you a video. So it will give you a complete idea what is exactly the numbers, what is the numbers of CBSE schools in India, etc. But one thing is, lots of schools are available. Everywhere you go, any state you go, you have CBSE schools. And CBSE also has got a standardized program throughout the country. So that's where it is becoming very popular. In fact, anybody who asks, I'm going to CBSE school. That's what they say. That is one of the very big advantages, and certain areas this is a disadvantage also, because some of the areas we have no other option but CBSE only. So these things we have to look into, take into consideration. But at the end of the I'll finish all the board, then I want to make a statement saying that what is the kind of advantages every board has got, what you can choose. Now you can go to ICSE, that is CISE, Council for the Indian School Certificate. Sorry, 1 minute before I go to CBSE has got senior secondary classes, that is +2 level. And earlier there were no exams after 10. Now the 10th standard exams are reintroduced. Earlier, in between few years, exam after 10th was an option. Now it's not that way. And we also have started with semester examination for the children. Now this year itself, in November, now it's happening. CBSEs are conducting MCQ exams as a part 1, semester 1 of the year. That is, it will be semester. This semester we'll have all the MCQs. Next semester, probably March, April, they'll have the final exam. 2 exams are going to be conducted by CBSE. It's already started. From this year, it started. Then ICSE, again, advantages. Wide course curriculum with large spectrum of topics. A lot of topics are available in ICSE. Because why means in CBSE, the science is combined. That is, physics, chemistry, biology will be in one book and one paper only they will write. But for ICSE, there are 3 papers: physics separate, chemistry separate, biology separate. 3 papers they will write. And so the comprehensive study of those subjects in the grade 10, it will be available. Greater focus on analytical skills and practical knowledge, because there is going to be internal assessment. Now CBSE also has introduced it, but comprehensively ICSE has got 20% internal assessment, which is based on their practical skills, and 80% is the written paper. So that is one of the very big advantages of ICSE. Subject catering to students, wide variety of interest. There are a lot of subjects have been added. And in fact, after 8th grade, the children can drop math and sciences also. Equal focus on languages, science, art for class 12 examination, because they don't insist on only sciences. We can take any group. In CBSE, there is fixed groups are available. In ICSE, we can mix and match also. And as I just mentioned, internal assessment for the project work. And Gap between university education and school education is less. This is a very, very important point, because the amount of content what they give in ICSE is very high. So when they go to university, that is, they go to colleges after ISC, which is the 12th grade examination of ICSE. After ISC, when the children are going to the college, the first year of college will be very easy, because normally the first year of college is a play time when children, they don't get adjusted fast. They will have a problem. They will have, because they are not having anybody. It's not a closed area. It's all over the open. All of a sudden, the children are open in the public. So that time, a lot of adjustment issues are there. That time, when the syllabus is a little easier, the kids get adjusted quickly. So the gap between ICSE and the university level is very less compared to CBSE. And this is one of the very major things. This is called SUPW, Socially Useful Productive Work. It's mandatory in ICSE. Without that, certificate is not given. Pass certificate is not given in ICSE, which is again a vocational kind of thing. Children can go do social service to the children. Latestly, NEP also suggests the children should know what's to serve becoming a good citizen of India and things like that. Apart from that, this is also will make the children to realize what kind of society they are living in, so that they can bring down their unwanted habits and all by seeing other people suffering. Also, they can do craft, they can do a certain amount of small buying and selling. They can do even interns, keeping social SUPW in mind. Without the C or D grade or pass in SUPW, pass certificate in ICSE is not given. So they have given importance to service learning in the ICSE. It's a very big advantage. So we need to work on it. Coming to the disadvantages, syllabus may be a bit cumbersome for the students, because I told you it's a very heavy syllabus. But when the children are started studying, it will be too much for them. Oh, so much we have to study. The depth of content will be very, volume is very high. And transition to other boards or pre-universities college different, because the way in which the questions are answered in asked in ICSE and the other boards are not the same. One more thing is, sometimes pre-university children, if they drop languages in ICSE, pre-university admission becomes very difficult. But when they enter pre-university, for them, the pre-university is a cakewalk. Very easy it will become. So that's what, there is a mixed opinion there. Then some of the ICSE schools are having and new institution affiliation getting is very, very difficult in ICSE. But why it is? Because they maintain some standard. If the ICSE schools are available and the standard will be maintained, because there is some kind of standard should be maintained by them. So, and apart from all these things, I can tell ICSE is having certain amount of edge because of the content knowledge, the application oriented questioning, and also here also one particular thing is, if you do 10 to 12 years of question paper again and again, you may arrive at the current year's paper. That's also possible. It's not that it is very exclusively kept and all. But ICSE children, and one more very important thing in English. English is mandatory because it has erstwhile Cambridge University, because when the people were Anglo-Indian education, when British people left India, they transferred to Indian board. That is why this board was formed. So this particular board is insisting on English. If you fail in English, no pass certificate given. You are failed. It's not that, but if you are pass mark is 35 and so many things are there, very positive things are there, and also internal assessment and all. But English is mandatory. Depth of knowledge is very high. Also, it is it's a board which is having a lot of analytical questions. So it's again a combined idea, but good board. Then IB is an international baccalaureate, which is an international board. It's from, it is basically Switzerland-based university, and it is internationally recognized board by universities across the world. And recognized by UNESCO, Council of Europe, Organization International and Francophonie. All the people are recognizing IB as a very important. IB normally doesn't have a 10th grade examination. They have IB diploma, 11th and 12th. Curriculum based on application and experimentation. Because it will be mixed. It will not be only science, it will not be only art. You must take subjects mixed from science and humanity and art. And lot will be done with kind of research. A lot of research has to be done. It's not like question and answer. But IB schools need to have a lot of good infrastructure. The affiliation doesn't come so easily. Option for parents who are NRIs or those who are planning to move abroad. For them, it is very easy because the credits, what they get in IB is carried over to international universities. Whatever the thing, they can take the credit because internationally admissions are happening, whether USA or UK. They have, if you had to do an undergrad degree, there must be some 120 credits, 130 credits you should accumulate in the current in 3-4 years. So you will start with 5 to 10 credits if you do IB and visit the other universities. It is internationally acclaimed one. So that's a very big advantage. Disadvantages from Indian point of view, I want to say, because it's not any disadvantages in the foreign countries, but in Indian point of view, because we are all in India and we need to choose the board. It actually, IB is not very popular in India, but people do take it. It is definitely higher fees because the infrastructures need to be very, very high and the class schools should look differently and the teacher training is very heavy. Then availability of restricted to metropolitan and tier 1 cities. Because it's because the amount of people who are available and things like that, most of them, Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Bangalore, those kind of schools, cities also, they have this more. It's not available all over India in all small remote places and all. Transition on other board is definitely difficult because the system of teaching itself is very, very different and children will get really confused when they come to other boards. Then lesser availability of books, learning material and mentors because it's a completely a different kind of board which we don't have very great amount of people who can teach the subject because training is very, very crucial. Convoluted rules and regulation for training. So much of importance is given for training and regulations because it's very difficult for Indian people to take the teachers to Singapore or in few places only trainings are given, subject trainings are given. Also, the material what we have, it has to come from other countries only. Most of them is not printed in India. No end of year examination for grade 10. Now, optional e-assessment, that is on the internet, like online exams are available. It's not mandatory. So we are also used to 10th standard examination. That's why CBSE has to reintroduce it. That is one of the little, because the children will have the career deciding exam directly in the 12th grade. So it is difficult. Exam series are available only in June and November will be, results will leave in August and Jan. It's going to be very difficult because November also only it is improvement exam. June only the exams will happen and we will get result in August. By the time most of the other admissions get over for 11th and after 11th and 12th. So this is again one of the big disadvantages for IB. But again, some of the people who are inclined towards going to foreign countries and they want to take up a different kind of teaching and learning and some of the subjects which they don't like, they do prefer IB. It is becoming a little popular now, but it is not that very popular as this board of international, which is Cambridge International Assessment and International Education. You can see this. This is the board and this is the examination for 10th grade, IGCSE, International General Certificate of Secondary Education. So what are the advantage? International board recognized by universities across the world. That is one of the things because it's Cambridge, London. Students can carry forward grades for foreign university, a provision that is not available to CBSE and ICSE school. Children can take this credit also after AS level and A level, that is 11th and 12th of Cambridge. After IGCSE, children will do AS and A level and those credit can be taken to other countries. Greater emphasis on training, teacher training, so that teaching methodology is always evolving and never stagnant. Huge amount of trainings are available. How it is available? Because in the website itself, we have support system and the teachers will be trained continuously and also online. And nowadays, because of COVID, it's only online. Otherwise, offline trainings are available in all the cities in India. So teachers can travel to those places. Not only metro cities, even in little remote places, it's available. Does not emphasize on rote learning and focus is on critical thinking and application-based learning. Entirely, if you do 10-year question paper, you can't do IGCSE because 11th year, a new set of questions will come and all the questions are application-based. So just for an example, I can give you, if a CBSE board asks define say Pascal's law, If ICSE board asks, these are all the things, what is, who said this and how it is. And Cambridge will ask some kind of situation explanation and ask the children to critically analyze which law it is and how to solve it. So these are 3 different kind of questioning pattern, and IGCSE has got this kind of different way of questioning, application oriented question, and all the things has got MCQs and the small questions. No exam is going beyond 2 hours, and it is comprehensively tested because more papers. That is, for example, Cambridge IGCSE 10th grade, if it is physics, they have 3 papers. One is MCQ, one is a written paper, one is practical or alternative to practical theory paper. So 3 papers they will write, then you will get consolidated mark. That means to say the children have to study the entire thing, not a single thing will be left out, and everything is analytical. Then children also can choose subject. It's not that you have to study this, you have to study that. It's not that. Cambridge is giving a lot of options. Greater use of technology to enhance learning experience, because you can do online testing. You can, if at all you are having problems with your dyslexia, dyscalculia, or you have very poor dyscalculia and dysgraphia, that is the handwriting is not good and all, you are allowed to use Word file so that you can send the answers. And if you are proven as any kind of learning disability, spellings are excused. And also for all the people, phonetic spellings are acceptable, because some of the words like xylem, phloem, all those things are very difficult. The children can write little in phonetic language. So those things are very good. It's a very student-friendly and technology-oriented board. Then highly advanced curriculum and assortment of subjects. Huge amount of subjects are available. Children can choose that. Flexibility of student-friendly examination system. That is, you have an exam in November, you have an exam in March, you have an exam in June. Earlier, it was in November and June, and you have all the paper in November, all the paper in June. But because the Southeast Asian countries, because of the cycle of examination, when we demanded in 2014, we demanded to 2015, basically, we started exams in March also. All the exams are given in March also, so that it will go with Indian boards. So that is also they have done. And they can improve exam. If you have not done exam in March, well, if I'm going to write in June, if the marks are better in June, that marks are taken. That improvement can be done immediately. And English and technical subjects are very given a lot of important, lot of questions and a lot of things are there. They have an entrepreneur, one subject is there, the performing arts subjects are there, and so on and so forth. In addition to Indian parents, it's also a suitable option if parents are NRIs or planning to moving abroad. It can be good for Indian parents also. It is good for international parents also. Let us see the disadvantages. Fee moderate for an international curriculum, it is a little okay, but found only in metropolitan city and tier 1 cities. That's again a problem. But now the trend is little changing. Cambridge has come in Guwahati and Dibrugarh and Chandigarh and all. It's coming up now. But earlier it was only available in metro cities. Either it was there in Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore. Of course, it's a very big hub of IGCSE school. And in Trivandrum, it was all there. But now slowly it is going to remote part of the countries. Difficulty for students to make the transition to other board. Again, this is the same thing with IB, because everything is application oriented. Rote memory becomes difficult for them. Students should involve themselves in self-study. It is not rote memory. Children cannot just depend only on book, the teacher teaching. They need to do a lot of work on their own. It can be seen as an advantage also. Children also who are not ready to memorize and write, they will have a very big gala time here. But self-study is something is very, very important in this kind of boards, IB and IGCSE. And children tend to relax because of exam. Oh, if at all I'm not getting good marks, I'll write another exam. So that kind of relaxed mood can come. And you know, the fee structure is very high for examination. Each and parents have to shell off a lot of money for exam writing. One exam itself costs 25,000 rupees for them. And too many papers, three papers. If the children are studying 7 subjects, they will have to write as many as 21 papers for an examination. It's very, very big. But it's again, this is an advantage and disadvantage. So now the examination, how difficult are these boards? CBSE board difficulty, well, relatively easy, but relatively difficult in mathematics and sciences. ICSE difficulty level is tough. On an average, a person scoring 85% in an ICSE is equivalent to a person scoring 90% in CBSE. That's what they say. But I still feel ICSE and CBSE are neck to neck. Both are almost similar kind of thing. IB board is very tough because it's more challenging than the educational board like CBSE and ICSE. There are regular quizzes and assignment which keep the student busy throughout. They will not be able to relax at all. They'll keep doing self-study. Then IGCSE again, in addition to written tests, students are having oral and problem solving skills. For languages, there is oral exam. You have to write speaking and listening test, and problem solving skills have to be tested. It is tough again. State board, relatively easy. NIOS is one board which I have to tell you is the National Institute of Open Schooling. Children who are having continuous kind of developing their own different kind of skills. They are good cricketers or tennis players, they're artists, they're music, dance, everybody. They may not be able to attend to school regularly. For these people, CBSE only from through a central board, in Indian government only is giving NIOS. It's becoming popular now because the children can take 2 different cycles. 8th standard is start with them. They have to go to an accredited school. And now it has come online also. They have, you can take the courses, whatever the subject you can choose math, science, anything. You can do 3 subjects in one cycle, 3 more subjects in other cycle. You can get a continuous certificate to it. Lot of vocational subjects are added to it. Syllabus is easier. At the same time, it can be a competitive thing even for 11th and 12th. NIOS is there for 11th and 12th also. And these children can even write all the entrance examinations. This is for the children who want to develop their skills in different fields. One side. Second thing, the children who are having little special abilities, that is difficulty in learning, slow learners can use this opportunity because they don't need to study for all the 6 subjects at the same time. So they can choose 2 different cycles, 3 subjects and 3 subjects, so that they have more time to study, more time to write, and also because they are learning differently to people, it will be easy for them. Before I go to this, there are certain things which I have to share. CBSE, ICSE or any other board has got a lot of friendly way to the people who are having disability. For example, in ICSE, if the children are slow learners, dyslexia, etc., they can get a certificate from the some kind of recognized agencies and get exempt from language. And they can get extra time for writing the question paper and answers, everything. All these things are available in all the boards. Actually, particularly CBSE also gives, ICSE also gives, and also Cambridge. You can, in Cambridge, as I told you, you can type and send. Even ICSE, certain time, they allow you to use that Word file without any correction, auto corrections. That we can use that also. Even ICSE allows it. And a lot of support is given for special difficulty children. And that is something which all the boards are doing. And that is one thing we need to mention, because now we are going to talk about inclusive education. People who are not able to do also should be studying. NIOS gives the support, ICSE gives the support, CBSE gives the support, IB, Cambridge, everything. People are understanding the value of children's education, even if they are differently abled. So that is something which we need to appreciate from all the boards. Another important thing is no board is bad. All the boards are good. Everybody working for the children. So what is that we want, we need to choose. It's somebody wants to try a terracotta shirt and somebody wants to buy a cotton shirt. Shirt is a shirt. We all should wear that. So that is how it is. We should not say this board is good and that board is bad. Nothing of that sort at all. Whichever suits your child. You cannot push something on your child. If the child is not capable of doing something, please understand that. Because we can't inject something if the children are not able to do it. Let us be very, very honest and practical about it. Do not make the children getting, oh, that boy is doing ICSE, let my child also do that. It's not that. See your child's capability and competency. On that basis only, please select the board. And again, I want to re-insist, no board is bad. Every board is working in their own way to educate the children. But we need to choose according to our capability, our affordability, our children's capacity to do the work. So That is what I want to mention, because people might ask me a question, which board is good, ma'am? All the boards are good. They're all working. But each other has got advantage and disadvantage, which we have really explained. That's what is my idea. People have to understand what board we are in, why, how we can do, how we cannot do. All those things we need to understand. So I have made 2 to 3 slides on our government's initiative towards the education, the boards and everything, that is called NEP. See, earlier there were a lot of differences. The earlier system, existing system, 10 years, age 6 to 16, first standard to 12th grade, and after that 16 to 18, 12th grade, and after that higher classes got. Now the systems are different. The 5 years together, Anganwadi, that is the pre-primary, what we are talking about. Here, this pre-primary is a separate section in the earlier stage. Now here it is integrated in the curriculum. So pre-primary, that is what you call it as nursery, LKG and UKG, first and second standard together. That's called foundational stage, multi-level and activity-based learning. Here again, children are not asked to write ABCD 10 times, column you write it. Those things are going to be removed. The children will be doing activities to learn their subjects. And after that, next is preparatory stage, which is 3 years, 8 to 11. Again, play, discovery, activity-based, interactive classroom learning. A lot of action has to be done, pictures, videos and all to be shown, so that the kids doesn't get affected so badly by memorizing, writing examination, pushing towards it and so on. And the third year is middle years, that is experiential learning, grade 6 to 8, age 11 to 14. In that, mathematics, social science and all are introduced. And also here there is robotics and all, they ask us to do it. And again, this stage also, the assessments are very generic, not very specific, right? Writing an examination and correcting, putting you are good, you are not good kind of thing, not there. Secondary stage, like multidisciplinary, 9 to 12, age 14 to 18. Children can choose their subject. And the multidisciplinary teaching is basically taken out from Finnish model. That is, where the children are not taught subject. A topic is taught through subjects. They are not doing away with the subject, but they will choose a theme and teach all the subjects through that. So that is multidisciplinary teaching, which is a very beautiful concept. And in Finland, that is what happens. And that is where we are going to win over, because nowadays the kids are not having an idea that subjects are interconnected. See, when I was teaching physics, when I teach about least count, a small calculation of 0.0 into 0.01 becomes very big for the children. They always think, why in a physics class I have to do mathematics? But mathematics, they will be solving big problems. So the connection between subjects doesn't happen. If you have multidisciplinary subject teaching, then children will know each and every subject is interdependent on each other. So that's a very beautiful concept, which is there in the Western countries. Our Indian NEP is going to adopt to it very cleanly. Critical thinking, flexibility and student choice of subject, which is already happening in international board, IB or IGCSE and all. They're already giving the subjects which are choice of students. But now in our Indian curriculum also, this is going to come in. After that, you have to go to higher education. That I'm not touching now. So now up to this, secondary stage, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, the entire thing is an NEP, and that's going to be a very beautiful concept, and it will transform the education. There are certain, I have explained here, introduction of this, and also with subject-oriented pedagogical curricular style is 6 to 8, and reap benefit through coding and international internship opportunities. In 6 to 8 grade, children can do internship. That's what NEP says. And higher class, they have greater flexibility, life's aspirations, what they want to become, give a lot of support to them and re-enter, and they can exit in 10th grade and later they can come to 11th grade also. And exams are going to be there all the time. This is the highlights of board examinations, what NEP says. Board exams are class 10 and 12 to continue. They are not going to discontinue that. Board exam to focus more on testing core capacities rather than rote memory. No rigid separation between arts and science streams. Now in CBSE science and other boards are giving importance on all these things will go away. All the boards will give all the subjects. Flexibility to switch as per preference. That is also, it is available in international boards. Now it is available in Indian boards also. Boards might develop further models of exam like annual, semester, modular modules. and semester is already been introduced. Modular modes are on, like how IB is doing. They will give a topic, the children have to create a module and present. So that is why boards could become modular. That is, it will be conducted twice a year, one main exam and one improvement exam. That is also possible in NEP. This is what is NEP's idea. So now if you again go back, now all the Indian boards and international boards are going to become almost similar with new NEP coming in. Most of the schools are going to get trained, ready, and people are going to look. Implementation is a very big challenge, but still it's going, according to the rules and regulation, it's going to happen. So that is what we are going to look on. So I will show you a small video. This video is going to give us an idea. I'll stop sharing and come back with the video because that video is going to give you a comprehensive thing about all the boards. I'll just come back.
You to a brand new video. This is S. Sudarshan, your career coach. For the last couple of weeks, we have been seeing topics on International Baccalaureate as a curriculum and Cambridge International, that's IGCSE as a curriculum. So this, all the four boards that are there in India, and we are going to do a comparison, or rather battleground of boards we call. So the topic for this week is CBSE versus ICSE versus IGCSE versus IB. So we will see the difference of all the four boards, what it offers, etc., etc., and then we'll finally conclude which board suits your son or daughter. Right. So moving on, this week is going to be in infographic way where you can relate, whatever I speak by the visuals that are behind me. I mean, before we start, one more thing I would like to say is I've not spoken individually about ICSE or rather CBSE because it's Indian board, and we usually assume, that these boards are known or are quite prominent or popular among Indian parents, and therefore I'm not dwelling in depth about this board individually. But when you listen to this video, by end of the video, you will comprehensively know what these boards offer to the students. Move on, right, starting from CBSE. If you see, the first differentiation, when it comes to all the four boards is the number of schools, total number of schools, I would say. Obviously, CBSE being the largest board, in India, it's India's government board. We all know it's recognized by NCERT, and government itself runs Kendra Vidyalayas and private schools. Huge number of CBSE schools. There are around 16,000 CBSE schools that you can see in India. And then when it comes to ICSE, a couple of minutes before we see what ICSE is, number of schools in ICSE is. ICSE is nothing but India's international board, I would say. It's India's board, but it's an international board. Yes, it is not run by Indian government, but at the same time, it is very much recognized by Indian government because it has representations from central government, respective state governments, and Anglo-Indian board and some other bodies. So it is nothing but it was formed, to deliver international education along with Cambridge University, similar to IGCSE, but then it became Anglo-Indian over a period of time. We used to have Anglo-Indian syllabus, right? And then now it has become ICSE, or that's a very brief introduction about ICSE. So ICSE is again a very popular board. It has 2,213 schools in India, which means it's really a popular school. IGCSE, or the Cambridge, relatively less, 130 full stack school, I should say, when it comes to number of schools. And then the IB, we have around 141 schools. So that's the number of school comparison. That's the first comparison. By far, CBSE is the largest because of the syllabus and the content and recognition, etc., within India. The second differentiating factor is on the focus and approach factor. So what is focus and approach? By focus and approach, what we mean is the subjects that these syllabuses focus on. Obviously, we all know CBSE focuses a lot on mathematics and science, that mugging up of things, right? So that's CBSE for you. Whereas when it comes to ICSE, they focus a lot on English, right? Equal weightage is given to maths, commerce, science, humanities. There is no doubt equal weightage is given. But again, there is a huge amount of focus on English. Obviously, because it comes with a strong Anglo-Indian board, therefore English focus will be more. We can safely say English is greater than science or maths or commerce or humanities when it comes to ICSE. So the trust on English is more in ICSE. IGCSE, which is the Cambridge, equal weightage to all. There is no doubt. They treat every subject equally. They treat maths, English, science, humanities, commerce, everything at par. And so is IB. Even IB treats all the subjects equally. So that's the differentiation when it comes to focus and approach. The third differentiating factor that we can think of is under the column subjects. What are the subjects that they offer? When it comes to CBSE, it offers combination of subjects. I should say combination of subjects divided into 3 groups. We all know what those groups are. Obviously, mathematics at lower level, science, and then the social sciences. These 3 groups commonly offered. When it comes to higher education also, it's science, commerce, and humanities and CBSE. Whereas in ICSE, it's same as the CBSE, but the volume that's being taught in ICSE is slightly larger. It's more. The volume of the subject, the content is more in ICSE. When you move to Cambridge, that is the IGCSE part, there's a wider amount of subject that you can choose from. Last week, we saw 70 subjects to choose from, out of which 30 forms language itself. There's a huge amount of subjects to choose from. If you move to IB, 6 different groups. Couple of weeks we saw 6 different. The subjects has been grouped into 6 groups, and then a student has to take 1 subject from each group and then pursue. So that's as far as the differentiation when it comes to subjects. The next differentiation is the compulsory subject. What are the compulsory subjects that are offered in every board? Definitely in CBSE, English is compulsory. There is no doubt. In ICSE, English is compulsory, and then you have a subject called SUPW. It's a very good subject, I should say. It's socially useful, productive work. You must have studied in your school, SUPW. That's compulsory in ICSE. That's the beauty of ICSE. When you move to IGCSE, there is one paper that's compulsory. That's called Global Perspectives and Research. That's a compulsory paper subject. And then out here at IB, you have 3 subjects that are compulsory. The first is Creativity Action Service. And then you have Extended Essay. Essays are compulsory. And then finally, Theory of Knowledge. So these are the compulsory subjects in different boards. The next differentiation that we can think of is in the area of assessment or evaluation or examination, the criteria of assessment. We all know CBSE is usually famous for this rote type, rote type we call memory type. So, that's CBSE, memorize and then recall concept. Philosophy that CBSE follows. ICSE is very different in this. It focuses more on understanding, skill development, and then knowledge, gaining knowledge, and then application of that skill. So the ICSE focuses a lot on that. IGCSE, more or less similar to ICSE, it comes from the same Cambridge background, therefore, it also follows the same. Whereas when it comes to, IB, once again, all the 3 boards, I should say, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB are uniform, or look-alike when it comes to criteria of assessment. They focus a lot on skill development and its application. The next differentiation that I can think of is the form of complexity level. So how difficult are the subjects that we should see? CBSE, it's not that complex, I should say. It's relatively easier, one to study. You can score more, but you will also learn a little bit, depth. In terms of depth, it's relatively lesser. ICSE, definitely, it's tougher than CBSE. It focuses a lot on core subjects and English as a core. We saw already. IGCSE, it's not that easy. It's a difficult one. The students are usually assessed around the year, not on one exam, on various parameters, not only on the exams, on numerous parameters, which we saw last week also. When you look at IB, very tough. It's really tough and it's demanding as well. Again, students are assessed on numerous parameters, numerous ways, I should say. In addition to the subjects, they are assessed on essays, they are assessed on quiz, they are assessed on various other aspects. So the assessment part is a major differentiator. Cambridge, we saw checkpoints also last week. So some of the differentiation when it comes to assessment. Now, finally, who should go for it? If you ask me, which type of student should take which board, that's for the last two weeks, we are here as to where we should see is where we are now. Which student to take which group? That's exactly which board rather. Right. If a student, or a parent, if you want to get into this road type learning, prepare yourself for Indian competitive examinations like JEE or NEET. Close your eyes and choose CBSE, because the syllabus itself comes from CBSE. The syllabus for all the competitive examinations in India today comes from CBSE. Therefore, if you want to get into IITs, if you want to get into medical colleges, close your eyes and choose CBSE. If you are really grooming and development, I would recommend ICSE for sure, because it focuses a lot on overall development and grooming. If you are looking at a worldwide learning, global learning, aiming to be a global citizen, you can definitely choose IGCSE. There is no doubt. If you want to study abroad in your undergraduation, Ivy League universities, universities like NUS, top universities across the globe, and also in India, choose IB. So the priorities are very, very clear. It's up to you. It's up to the parents and students as to what they want to. You want to study in IIT in India, choose CBSE. If you want development, personal development, overall development, choose ICSE. If you want to be a global citizen, prepare yourself for globalized world, choose IGCSE. If you want to study abroad, right from your undergraduation, take SAT and go, then it's IB. So this is perhaps, what we are. And the final verdict from my side, international board, as a parents, what you have to look definitely is the compatibility of your child with international board. That's something which you have to seriously look. There is a myth that some people say that international boards are not relevant in India. They're yet to take off and things like that. I would slightly differ on this, because with the growing amount of international schools, Cambridge schools, especially in India, it is not lagging that far behind. However, if you look at the new education policy that's going to come up this year, even Indian boards will not be, left far behind, because the kind of, measures that are being imposed, that are going to be imposed in this national education policy is already there in international boards, but that's going to come up in Indian boards also. Overall, if you ask me, it's a great time to, put your child in a right school, appropriate school and appropriate medium. Hope you all, enjoyed watching this video. Hope you all, are now to a large extent well-versed with all the 4 boards. If you still have any doubts or clarity about which board should your son or daughter be enrolled, do contact us. You can ping me in WhatsApp. Hope you all enjoyed. In case of any clarifications, do contact us, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel and pass it on to your relatives and friends. And until next week, Monday, 5 p.m. with a brand new video. See you all. Take care. Have a great Republic.
So you saw that video from Sudarshan. He is a person who is consulting for all the things and all. So there are some questions. At what point can a kid switch from state to CBSE or CBSE or ICSE? That is one question. Another question is, what is the amount of focus on skills and attitude of learning across board, especially ICSE and CBSE, even the state boards and AONO for that matter? There are 2 questions. It's been there. I'll answer both. But before I go into the questions, I want to just differ from Sudarshan only one point. That is, the IIT, you close your eyes, put CBSE is wrong. The thing is, all the boards can make the child competent enough to take all the entrance examination. But why it is a widely popular CBSE? Because the amount of schools are higher. So when 100 schools, 20 children going to from CBSE, from 80 schools, 20 children going to ICSE, from ICSE and things like that, you can see the percentage will be higher. So we cannot say this board is good for IIT, that board is not good for IIT. In fact, all the kids go to a special coaching class after their boards. So in fact, in AS and A-level, Cambridge, little bit has an edge, because the application-oriented questions, multiple choice questions are not all already taught in AS and A-level. So in fact, Cambridge +2 level, that is +2 level of Cambridge children need not go for any coaching class, and they'll be able to crack IIT JEE or whatever the competitive exams are. So that one point I want to differ from Sudarshan. But rest of the thing, what he has told, he has given correct data and everything. That's good. But the question, what is the competency, what is the skill from state board to ICS? No, the children need not do anything. All the boards start from 9th grade only. Till 8th grade, whatever the children are studying is the capacity of whatever the school is teaching or whatever. So once the child is touching 9, the board starts. Okay. So if children are able to crack all the question answers in state board or any CBSE or ICSE, anything, children can still go for any board. I have a very strong opinion. The kids are more competent than we think. We normally see, you give 1 spoon of something and you will drink only 1 spoon. If the child, you have to see whether we can give 10 spoons and the children are still able to take it. So that's what we should see. And you give him 1 spoon and you say only one spoon he can take. It's not possible like that. Try to make the children to study more, and kids will assimilate so much. Actually, on record, a kind of research says till the age of 8, the children can learn as many languages as 10 to 12 languages within the age of 8. So that's the research says. That means to say the competencies of children is not less. How effectively you put it. The children are, when they are going to be bombarded, dum, like that, they will not be able to take anything. Allow them to explore. They will be able to assimilate so many things. So there is no dearth in competency, intelligence. Only how we put the children into the intelligent factor, intelligent area, or we can arena, we can say. You ask them to play, they will play very well. So that's the answer for both the questions. And I have more questions here. And again, there is what is the skill which we have to. So skill is nothing but the reading, writing, speaking, listening, all the 21st century, the communication, collaboration, creativity, everything should be there for the children. But some of the things we cannot be trained. It should come automatically. We create an environment for the children to get that. Rather than tell you be creative. You cannot teach creativity. Kids have to learn from what is there being given to them. If a child can do a craft in one way, another. I want to just share one small example. Long ago, as early as 2001, 2002, when I was teaching first standard mathematics, we don't introduce the term called fraction. We always use equal parts. So when I'm saying equal parts, and I was telling children, when something is cut directly, like equally in both the sides, that is called equal parts. Say, for example, apple cannot be cut horizontally, but you have to cut vertically on the top to become equal part. Like that I was teaching. And I told the children, whatever you want, you cut into 2 equal parts and draw. You know what one child drew? The child drew a Titanic ship, broken half inside the water, half on the top. So the child, teeth half here, teeth half there also the child has put. So beautifully the child, what kind of creativity is? Nobody taught the creativity. You create an atmosphere for the child. The school should create an atmosphere for the child to explore rather than giving, this is your syllabus, you read this, you study this, put inside a pressure cooker. The children won't learn anything. The competencies are already there with the children. Just instigate it, push it up. Then the children will go to any board. Board doesn't matter in that area. So that's the answer for that.
Kalpana ma'am, we have 5 more questions in the chat box. Actually, a lot of parents are waiting for the answer.
I'll just go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, that 2 questions, question and answer session it was there. Given a scenario, if a student is studying IGCSE, which class do you think if at all, they need to change to other Indian boards? Again, IGCSE starts from pre-primary. For students of IGCSE, how difficult to crack Indian competitive exam? Like I have told very clearly, after IGCSE, there is 11th and 12th grade AS and A level. If they continue to do that, NEET, IIT, JEE, etc., CET also, it's very easy. And if a child is in IGCSE and shifting to the children, you have to do it before the board starts. Probably 7th or 8th grade if you want to go to CBSE or ICSE. Because the child has to get the mode of writing examination in a different way. So a little early. But I would prefer the children don't get shifted at all. And I love that those boards also. Because the children are trained in such a way, the children can easily this one. Hello, it is just a video or someone going to talk through this. When NEP is expected to come in. And will CBSE, ICSE will be aligned to this. NEP is already in place. Most of the governments are working on it. They were stalling it because of COVID. Now, most of the governments are going to implement NEP immediately. Already, semester system for CBSE and ICSE is starting. It is not just talking. It is already on card. It is going to come in. And is it just a video or someone going to talk through this? No, it's not just a video. It's not going to anything. It's going to be there. People are going to take up NEP very well. So that is not an issue at all. And you will be seeing that very well. Okay. NEP is already there and it is there. Can a student of IGCSE post completion of 10th, can he join CBSE 11th and 12th? How easy or difficult it is? To a certain extent, it's going to be difficult because subject matter will be the same. In fact, it will little more. There can be no CBSE physics or IGCSE physics or CBSE, ICSE physics. Physics is physics, chemistry is chemistry everywhere. Volume is also almost similar only. But the exam pattern, the way in which they have to answer will be little difficult because that if at all they train in that, they can definitely go to CBSE. That's not an issue. It's depending on how willing the child is rather than how difficult it is. The willingness of the child is matter more than the, because the child applies, the child will definitely can cope up in any board, even 11th and 12th. And I have actually, at what time point a kid can switch from state to CBSE, I've answered that question already. Given a scenario, that is also I've answered. Can a kid studying in UK for 5 years and get adjusted to ICSE syllabus in grade 9? Again, tough question. Maybe 8th, 7th, if the child come in, the adjustments will be easy than the 9th grade because 9th grade is already the board class. The amount of volume of syllabus will be terribly high. So in some of the Western countries, some of the science subjects are not given so much of importance. In fact, living science is being given a lot of importance till 7th grade. Physical sciences are given importance only in 8th grade and so on. But by the time Indian boards are giving huge amount of science and mathematics in 6th grade onwards. So 7th and 8th, if the children coming in, they will be able to cope up with Indian boards starting from UK. That's an easier thing for them. Now, but NEP coming, probably it will be working out very well. But still, it's not come. So we will be on a safer side. We'll say 7th and 8th. Can a student of IGCSE post completion of 10th can join CBSE for 11th and 12th? I've answered that question. They can, provided the children's mental preparation is there. You can definitely do it. Can a child adjust in IGCSE when moved from CBSE after 8th grade? Yes, definitely. Most of the time, some of the schools are giving IGCSE only at 8th grade. CBSE in Exceed Pedagogy and from 8th IGCSE is what we are considering. See, Exceed Pedagogy is not something which is very, very new. It is again giving a reinforcement of whatever the existing syllabus in our Indian context only. Cambridge is also having certain amount of syllabus, which again, as I told you, subjects cannot change. All the subjects are having the content which is already available only. The mode of application, writing examinations are different, but the content definitely it will be same. As I told you, physics is physics, math is maths, chemistry is chemistry, and there can always 2 + 2 is 4 only in all the board. There is no difference in that. Okay. In ICSE, is there more project work? No, every subject they have to do a project for internal assessment. That is why it is there. But the projects are spread over 2 years. So I think it will not be very difficult. Most of the schools give the project during holidays and all, summer holidays, etc. So it will not be that very difficult and it will fetch them 20% internal assessment. Ma'am, in which class can I change my daughter from ICSE to CBSE? Now is in 5th class. I mean, till that grade 9th, it's not board class. Anytime you can do. Even now you can change to CBSE. But why do you want to do it? All the boards are almost similar. ICSE is also a good board. You don't need to change that. I think I've answered all the questions.
Ma'am, one more question. Oh, sorry, one more question in between, ma'am. For a student of IGCSE, how difficult to crack the Indian competitive exams like NEET, JEE, or etc.? I
have answered that question, Sangam. That is, it is easy. After 11th and 12th of Cambridge, the children then definitely write because they are already application-oriented ready mode. Because all the other board, they go for coaching classes in which this kind of teaching is happening. Application-oriented type of questions are happening. Cambridge student in ASN A level, there are ASN A level, if it is science paper, there are 5 papers. 3 in AS level and 2 in A level. together for all the 5, it will give you an advanced level certificate, which is having 2 credits. These credit can be transferred to foreign university, but here all the 5 papers are having multiple choice questions, essay questions, and practical examination. Everything is there, and also they will be almost ready for writing the IIT JEE or something like that. If they write the exam for 11th and 12th of Cambridge, for them, cracking NEET, JEE, and CET and all will be easy. There's no problem.
Ma'am, just wanted to know this NEP, will it have any effect on the functioning of the boards as of now?
Yeah, it will be there because boards cannot completely go with their autonomous kind of things. They have to adjust themselves to the NEP recommendations and demands. So now boards are having their own set of rules and regulations, but they need to make certain amount of changes in their way of writing exam and talking to people, everything as per NEP norms. Yes, it will have an effect. Yeah.
Last question, madam. Just wanted to know, after IG, can a student switch out to Indian boards? And
that actually, there was a question. Definitely we can do. And it is depending on how the kids are ready to take it. Okay. And the way of examination is different from different boards. So the children mindset is important, but it is possible to shift from one board to another board after 10th grade. It is easy only. It's not easy. They have to put in an effort, but it can be done.
Yes, ma'am. I have one question, ma'am. Some of the schools actually till 8th standard, they actually teach combination of ICSE and IGCSE. After that, they take given a choice to the student to decide whether to go for ICSE or IGCSE from 9th onwards. That is okay, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, that's what I said. Any board comes only in 9th and 10th. That's why they are giving like that. Basic things are taught till 8th grade. So that's not so the school which is giving that kind of choice will prepare the children for both the boards up to 8th. So that those schools will always do that because they will not, they will give little of IGCSE, little of ICSE, little of CBSE, like that. They will mix and give so that the children can choose any board of their choice. So 9th and 10th only any board will have the registrations happens in 9th grade. So it can be, that's not a problem. It can be done. And only thing is, again, the students and parents' mindset and competency levels we have to be checking.
Right, ma'am. And last question has come from the audience. That is, state boards will continue or will that change to CBSE? That is the last question.
Already it is changed to national curriculum. Most of the state board, even Karnataka board is changed to national curriculum. They are all using NCERT books only now. Most of the state board, even actually, if you look into it, even the ICSE boards, everybody, the syllabus is given by NCERT and they are testing according to their boards. So now there is almost a national curriculum is already in existence. State boards also using NCERT books. So it will come and it will continue, but with our CBSE syllabus and NEP comes in, there is an NEP recommended syllabus. So it will work like that. State boards will continue because some of them, we have state board in Kannada medium and all are there. They won't change it immediately.
I think,
and average students, ICSE will scoring difficult. Yeah, but the child's way in which the child apply himself for the examination, they can, and they will do all the projects well. Automatically, 20% comes as an internal assessment. See, any board, when you are not preparing, it is difficult. So make the children to be positive towards examination. Don't get scared of examination first and foremost. And do the studies very, very regularly rather than pushing it in the last minute. There is a complete examination way of doing things. Make yourself, keep going back to the lessons where you have some issues, clarify your doubts, get the concept correct, then it is not at all a difficult thing. For any student, I won't call any student average, below average and all. Only thing is the understanding problem. So the understanding has happened, any student is a bright student. There is no average student and below average student. Understanding is an issue. So when people are there to clarify things properly, there is no difficulty. So the children have to put in just one step of extra effort and one step from the parent and one step from the teachers. The child is not going to be an average student. The child will do very well.
Okay. Great, madam. That was really very good, a very exhaustive session.
One more question. If I leave math, science, and ICSE, will it be a problem? There will be no problem. There are students who have dropped math and sciences. There are so many avenues today. We have so many different fields available. What was there in 10 years before, those jobs are not there today. What jobs are today is not going to be there after 10 years. Choose new path, take a different route. You will be a great success actually. Math and science are not be all and end all, but at the same time, basic maths and sciences for logical thinking will be very good. Up to 8th grade, you can study math and science. After that, any line you choose, the road less traveled is always successful. Don't worry about it. It is not a problem. I have students who are doing extremely well in their life after leaving maths and science in ICSE. There's no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Great, madam. If there are no other questions, then probably we can wind up with the session. Madam, that was really, really very good. That was a very exhaustive information about which board to choose. And I'm sure that all the people who are here, who have attended, now know how to choose the board than on the kind of delivery what they do. It is more of the capability of your kid is what you'll have to decide, as ma'am said. And thanks, madam. Thanks for all the.
It was really a wonderful session, ma'am. Yes, it was really a wonderful session, ma'am.
Yeah, so we can wind up with the session. Thanks, Sangram. Thanks for all the technical and the introduction of the schools. Thanks all the participants who have attended. There are more to come on our schools platform. Please keep checking on our platform, and we have another webinar coming next week. So please do keep being informed about it, and you will all be invited on your phone number, mail and your WhatsApp. Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening, all of you. Have a great weekend. Bye.